I have a request from Ms. Blaney, who would like to say something. Ms. Blaney, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you so much, Chair. I just wanted to read onto the record the notice of motion. I will not be moving it, of course, today out of respect for the witnesses that we have here, but want to make sure it's on the record. That in relation to its study on the National Monument to Canada's mission in Afghanistan, the Committee A invite the Deputy Commander of Military Personnel, Lieutenant General Liz Bourgon, and pursuant to Standing Order 108, brackets 1, brackets A, order the production of all memoranda, briefing notes, emails, correspondence, or any other records of conversations or communications, including text messages, Microsoft Teams messages, WhatsApps, apps messages, Signal messages, or other electronic messaging with regard to the National Monument to Canada's mission in Afghanistan, transmitted since November the 8th, 2021, between I, the Department of Veterans Affairs and the Office of the Minister of Veterans Affairs, double I, or 2, the Department of Veterans Affairs and the Privy Council Office, 3, the Department of Veterans Affairs and the members of the jury responsible for evaluating the finalist designs for the National Monument to Canada's mission in Afghanistan, 4, the Department of Canadian Heritage and the Office of the Minister of Canadian Heritage, V, or 5, the Department of Canadian Heritage and the Privy Council Office, 6, the Privy Council Office and the Office of the Prime Minister, 7, the Office of the Minister of Veterans Affairs and the Office of the Prime Minister, and 8, the Office of the Minister of Canadian Heritage and the Office of the Prime Minister, provided that these documents shall be provided to the Clerk of the Committee in both official languages and without redaction within 21 days of the adoption of this motion. And C, and that the Department of Veterans Affairs Canada and the Department of Canadian Heritage provide the official report of the jury established for the selection of the firm responsible for the design of the National Monument to Canada's mission in Afghanistan. Thank you so much, Chair. And I would just like to say, absolutely.
So, Mr. Richards.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. On a point of order, and I do have an argument to make from Bosch and Gagnon, but I would ask that you indulge me for a couple of moments to just provide a little context before citing that. Back in November, and 6 times since, I've brought forward a motion that we put on notice, and I'll read the motion because I think it's important that the committee hear this for deliberation on the point of order. That in relation to its study on the National Monument to Canada's mission in Afghanistan, the Standing Committee on Veterans Affairs...
Point of order, Chair.
We're on a point of order.
It's not a point of order.
So I'd like to listen a little bit carefully, and I will go back to you.
Thank you so much.
Chair, the Chair has given me the latitude to be able to explain my point of order before making it. That in relation to its study on the National Monument to Canada's mission in Afghanistan, the Standing Committee on Veterans Affairs, A, call the Deputy Commander of Military Personnel, Lieutenant General Liz Bourgon, and B, order the production of all memoranda, briefing notes, emails, correspondence, or any other records of conversations or communications, including text messages, Microsoft Teams messages, WhatsApp messages, Signal messages, or other electronic messaging, with regard to the National Monument to Canada's mission in Afghanistan, transmitted since November 8, 2021, between 1, the Department of Veterans Affairs and the Office of the Minister of Veterans Affairs, 2, the Department of Canadian Heritage and the Office of the Minister of Canadian Heritage, 3, the Department of Veterans Affairs and the Privy Council Office, 4, the Department of Canadian Heritage and the Privy Council Office, 5, the Privy Council Office and the Office of the Prime Minister, 6, the Office of the Minister of Veterans Affairs and the Office of the Prime Minister, and 7, the Office of the Minister of Canadian Heritage and the Office of the Prime Minister, provided that these documents shall be provided to the Clerk of the Committee in both official languages and without redaction within 21 days of the adoption of this motion. Now, if this sounds familiar, you'll note that it's all contained within the motion that we have just heard, which I will point out has been brought forward several times and could have been voted on 2 months ago had the NDP member just not adjourned the meeting and actually voted for the motion. Now, since then, on February 12th, the Bloc moved an amendment that the motion be amended by adding the following after paragraph B. C, and that the Department of Veterans Affairs Canada and the Department of Canadian Heritage provide the official report.
This is debate,
of the
Mr.
jury.
Chair.
Debate. This is not a point of order.
It is a point of order.
Under what standing order? Under what standing order?
Let me finish. I will. And that the Department of Veterans Affairs Canada and the Department of Canadian Heritage provide the official report of the jury established for the selection of the firm responsible for the design of the
Point of
national
order,
monument to the
Chair.
Canada's mission in Afghanistan. And the point I'm making here, Chair,
Yes.
is
Go
if
to
you
the
were,
print.
if you were to look
to
at
you.
these two motions,
Right.
this motion is entirely those two motions with one exception.
Right.
The exception,
debate. Where's the point of order?
The exception is the following. The portion that was previously an amendment made by the Liberal Party, that the motion be amended by adding after paragraph B the following, that the Veterans Affairs Canada produce any correspondence received from members of the jury responsible for evaluating the
Yeah,
finalist
but
designs.
Mr.
Now, Chair,
Richards.
Chair,
Point of order.
No,
finish, Chair.
let me
Because
say
the
something.
point- the-
Right,
the
let
point-
me
the
say
point,
something,
Mr.
please.
No, it's not debate, Chair. Let
No,
me finish, because
yeah,
I'm
but-
about to
no,
get
no,
to the point.
yeah,
The motion,
but,
the motion, no,
Mr.
there was-
Richards,
context was important.
Just a second. Let me tell you something. We can have a lot of motions on the same subject. So I understand
Chair,
that
I
you are
haven't-
saying
I
that
haven't
you
quoted
have
to
a
you yet the
motion, Mr.
Boston
Desilets
Gagnon.
have one,
Chair,
and now we have
Chair,
a new one. Yes.
You need to allow me to finish because there is a point of order here, and you haven't allowed me to make the point.
But
The point
please
is
Clearly the
go
train
to
did not
your
there is one,
specific
there is one
point.
portion of this motion that is substantially different than those two things I've just read, the block amendment and the conservative motion. And that is
That's
the
debate.
liberal, that is
That's
the
not a point of
liberal
order.
amendment, which
Chair,
was
he's
previous-
talking
which was
over you.
previously
Where's
defeated.
the decorum?
And therefore, based on Boston Gagnon in chapter 20, I would rule that that portion of the motion should be
Okay.
should be inadmissible.
Yeah.
Based on
I
this,
understand
based
your
on this,
point.
Based on this principle.
I
Chair.
understand your point,
Any
Mr.
motion that
Richards.
has- let me read the
Yeah,
Boston
but we have
Gagnon, Chair.
witnesses. We
Yes,
have witnesses
but I have a
today.
point of order,
I
Chair.
know, but I
me make
understand.
the point of
I
order.
understand the basic
You
of your
can't
point
rule
of
until
order.
you've heard it, Chair.
Yeah, but okay. So that's why I said I give you one more minute. Yes, I give you one more minute to
20
conclude.
seconds, Chair.
Yeah,
20
20
seconds.
seconds to conclude, please,
So
Mr. Richards.
in Boston Gagnon, in chapter 20, it indicates that a motion that is the same in substance as one that is already decided in the same session is inadmissible. And there is a portion of this that was an amendment moved, and that should extend to an amendment, as previous chairs have in fact ruled. And that is the portion that says the point 3, B,
Yeah.
point 3, that is exactly the same in content as a
Yeah.
amendment that was previously defeated by this committee, and therefore I would rule that point B, subpoint 3, should be inadmissible.
Okay, thank you so much. And I have also Ms. Blaney. So please, if you could be quick, because
Absolutely, I
and I
can
will
be.
come back with my decision regarding that intervention.
Thank you so much, Chair. And again, I just want to note to everybody that this was just a notice to motion. Mr. Richards has complained a lot about not being able to get this done. And what I thought I would do is bring together all the motions and hopefully having representation from every party get to move it forward. So I'll leave it at that, Chair, and I hope we can get to the witnesses. Thank you again for allowing me this time.
Thank you very much. So now, please, we have 2 witnesses with us, and we will have 3 more after in 1 hour. So let me introduce the witnesses.
I've made the point of order.
Yeah,
I'd
but-
like a ruling on the point
Yes,
of order.
but I
It's-
just told you that I will come back with my decision on that.
When would you come back? Chair?
As soon
Because-
as possible.
Because,
As-
Chair,
Yeah.
Chair, it's important that we have a ruling on this point of order because I would like to see these motions get dealt with.
Yeah.
Please, Chair, I would ask for a ruling.
Yes, I said that you're going to have a ruling, but
When?
Ms. Blaney table a motion, just table that motion. We are not discussing this motion, so I have plenty of time to come back to the committee and to give my decision.
Well,
So
Chair, I
you're
would-
not going to have
I
my
would-
decision
I would
today.
ask that you provide us a decision.
I will provide, but not
Today?
today. No. I have, please, members of the committee, we have witnesses that we have, excuse me, guys, member, come on, please. Okay, listen. Mr. Richard, this is the last time. We have 2 witnesses in front of us, They make arrangement to be here with us. So please be responsible and let them, because they have a lot to say. And I will now introduce our two witnesses for today. À titre individuel, j'ai dit two, but three witnesses.
In fact, we have three witnesses with us today. We have Ms. Vicky Lynn Cox from Aircraft Structural Technicians, and by video conference, we have a gentleman, Mr. Steve Turpin, and from True Patriot Love Foundation, Nick Booth, who is the Chief Executive Officer.
And after that, members of the committee will ask you questions.